Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Guys, 2023 is on the books, in the pocket, out of sight. This is officially day one of Model Behaviour 2024, but we can't look forward without looking back. There were a whole bunch of awesome action figures released last year. You want to hear what my top 10 were? Well, you clicked on this video, so you must do. So let's not stand on ceremony. Mr. Wayne, let's talk about him. Before we get to the top 10, though, we have a couple of honorable mentions. First of all, the Modoroid Good Smile Company Robo-Cane model kit. Of course, that kind of keeps it off the list because it's not an action figure, it's a model kit, but once you put all those pieces together, I'll be darned if you don't have a damn fine Robo-Cane action figure. Now, of course, there's some DIY type aspects to it. You got to apply the transfers. You can even paint it if you want to. I mean, you really should do, but unpainted, he still looks decent. Unfortunately, me with my painting skills, there being a complete lack of, I'm not going to try risking it because I'll only make him look worse. But for an almost 1/12 scale representation of Robo-Cane, something that we have never had before, it is great to have in the collection. I'm really hoping that maybe NECA or Figma or any other company that likes to get a little bit high end with what they do can do this in 1/12 scale. Higher Toys was the other one I was trying to think of. They've done some 1/18 scale stuff, but just jack that up to the sweet spot of 1/12, and oh my goodness, that could be a potential action figure of the year, just because I'm a big mark for RoboCop 2. Nonetheless, though, for this little model kit here, it was a pleasure to put together, man. An absolute joy. And the finished product with all the articulation that you have in there as well. Mwah! A little bit of a chef's kiss to start the show with. Now we got the most recent figure to be added to my collection, courtesy of friend of the show, Kozan, who sent me Sky Atlas, aka not Optimus Prime, or more specifically, not Flame Toys Optimus Prime. What's the difference between this one and the one by Flame Toys? About $400, give or take. Also, yeah, of course, the Flame Toys one is made of metal and it's chrome and beautiful. This is a much cheaper material, but they keep that same kind of Flame Toys design, which is kind of anime-ish, sort of very Japanese sci-fi sort of style, but still instantly recognizable as Optimus Prime. And oh yeah, he transforms as well. Normally, I don't like transforming Transformers. I mean, who would do? Why would you think that you'd want a Transformer to transform? I don't understand you people who insist on that. Because normally the robot mode gets compromised. In this case, though, this dude transforms into an awesome-looking post-apocalypse Mad Max-style truck. And yet, when you transform him back into robot mode, he still looks the bomb. That's so cool. So this was a huge surprise. I didn't even know this thing existed. And then he landed on my doorstep, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I guess I got another potential figure of the year candidate. Mayx Steel. This was the year that the reign of the Supermen began. We got Mayx Steel, we got Cyborg Superman, and next year we're getting Eradicator and Superboy. And you know me, I'm not a huge DC fan, but Reign of the Supermen, Death of Superman, it's just, it doesn't get more 90s than that, so the nostalgia is strong there. And Steel, so far, is the highlight of this kind of sub-wave that they're doing. You would have thought maybe I wouldn't gravitate so much to him, because he is just one plain color. When that color is a stunning, shimmering, shining chrome silver, oh man, talk about something popping off the shelf. This hits that sweet spot for just glancing across your collection and seeing, bam, this one figure staring out at you. 3 different heads, each one of which has a very distinct look. That's so cool. And then when you've got the lovely swath of color from the red cape, and he's got enough articulation that you can really put him in great hammer swinging poses with booster jets too. Yeah, Steel is well worthy of an honorable mention. And then we have the Guardian of the Horde. This big, bright green orky boy is just fun. Man, he's so much fun. The fact that you can strip all the armor off of him and just have him down to his tighty-whities, and you can put everything on piecemeal, one bit at a time to have whatever look you want. That's fantastic. A separate head that's got an awesome mask design as well. Just gives you so many different display options. A dangerous thing with having so many different armor combos. So you could army build this guy if you wanted to. For me, he's going straight in my Berserk Mythic Legions type collection. That's just going to be so much fun having him with characters from Foray Planet. Just any monstrous type characters. They all just fit together so well to make this great fantasy display. And this dude with his chunky physique and just bright green orc colors, so much fun, looks right at home with all the other monsters. Oh, we got a contentious one now, and maybe against my better judgment, but Mayx Scarlet Spider. Okay, all right, I caved. Yeah, he makes the top 10, even though he was a heartbreaker as well. Because, yes, of course, in case you've been living under a rock or this is your first model behavior video, in which case, welcome to the channel. My one broke. The knee just snapped off like it was attached with cobwebs and pixie dust. There was nothing holding that knee on. And if that was the first example of this ever happening, I'd be like, okay, hey, you know what? Bad luck. I've been collecting action figures for years. You're bound to have a dud every now and then. But as soon as I mentioned that this occurred to me, my inbox was flooded with pictures of other people's Scarlet Spiders, all with broken knees at exactly the same point. And I was like, okay, Mayx, this seems to be a recurring theme. So I love what they did with this figure. And of course, Ben Reilly is my boy. So I can't not love this. But there's that big old caveat. So everything about it as a standalone action figure, if there wasn't any defect, if the knee was okay, if he didn't have more in common with Rey Mysterio than I would like, then he would easily be, scratching that #1 spot. But still, I still want to put him on the list because it's Ben Reilly. It's a dream figure of mine. A soft goods, hoodie, official Scarlet Spider figure. I got it! But it was a poison chalice. It was a monkey's paw kind of wish. I got what I wanted, but when I did I really want it? Well, the fact that he's on my top 10 means that I guess I did, but dang it, that one's always going to smart just a little bit. Bring on the Marvel Legends version, because you can never have too many Scarlet Spiders. Marvel Legends, the Blob. There's a few characters that you just can't repaint a basic body for. You guts to go unique, and the Blob is one of them. And oh my goodness, Hasbro pulled out all the stops with this guy, and I'm so grateful for it because he looks fantastic. I mean, talk about a worthy upgrade. You had the Toy Biz Build-A-Figure, which is decent, but also really expensive, and also just kind of gross to look at. I much prefer a more sort of cartoony, not disgusting Blob. And I think the designers of this guy wanted that aesthetic as well, and they nailed it. 2 different heads, again, with 2 distinct looks. So, of course, I want the going into battle, come here, I'm gonna eat ya kind of look to him. That looks great. And just the way that they've done the articulation as well. So that he's got a good range of motion in his knees and his elbows. They're single jointed, but that's because they're so thick. They have to be. But also you look at him, there's not a pin in sight. Really smooth mechanically. The way that he's put together, they really put in the extra work and it shows. And then they got my money. Or, they got everyone else's money as well. Because that's what happens when you make something that people want and you do it well. It's not rocket science. And when it lands, the Blob lands with a thud. But he lands with a thud on your shelf and looks the business. My only problem now is that I kind of want to just get the entire Brotherhood. Because kind of Blob on his own, he needs his buddies. So, Juggernaut, Mystique, Sabretooth, all the rest. It's another line that I need to buy, but you know what? I'm not even mad about it, because Blob on his own, he pretty much justifies it. Wang, the Blade Master from Foray Planet. What a wonderful action figure this is. What a wonderful line this is. It's a gift to action figure collectors. Big, chunky, anthropomorphic animals that just create this great kind of universe story that they're unfolding. How do you know what story is unfolding? Well, they tell you with a big, thick, deluxe, glossy comic that comes with each of the characters as well. It's like the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends thrown and zhuzhed up into the modern day. Each one of these characters, not just Wang the Blade Master, but Crocker and Veteran William as well, they all kind of sit side by side as far as quality is concerned. And I was torn between this guy and Veteran William, but I had to go for the kitty cat. This samurai tiger is just, he's hitting the sweet spots. I've used that a few times, but what can I say? All these figures hit the sweet spot, especially because I want to put him in my fantasy collection, and with the not sci-fi, the very opposite of sci-fi, the samurai historical old world kind of costume and weapons, he fits in so great with the Mythic Legions type characters. I love that. And then the great sneering kind of look on the tiger face, the beautiful mixed media of his sword case with the velvet inside and the rope tying it around him. So beautiful, so much going on there. The paintwork that just makes his fur look real, essentially, even though there's no soft goods to speak of besides a little bit of velvet and rope. Besides that, he's all plastic, which does limit his articulation and his posability a bit. But again, that's a great thing with Fu-Ray Planet. If you want him to pose better, you can just take off all of his plastic cape and cloak, and then you've got way more movement. So you've got those great display options. Yeah, this guy, so much fun. The No Way Home Green Goblin is everything that it needed to be, just done perfectly in the Marvel Legends style. Because so many people wanted that rainy Green Goblin for the longest time. And when the movie came out, we got that design, but just tweaked enough to make it look so much better. Long gone is the spandex-looking Power Rangers villain-type character design, and we have that original base, but then with more detail, more color, more going on. And the sculptors at Marvel Legends, they did all of it, and they did it really well, and they put the coloring in and the paint, and it's all applied excellently. There's no smudges or blotches or anything, no QC issues on my end, and the two different heads for two completely distinct looks. First of all, the classic Goblin mask. See, I thought they might not include that. I thought when this was announced, they're going to be sneaky. They're going to give us a No Way Home Green Goblin with just the Willem Dafoe face, and then they're going to re-release it all in green with the Goblin mask for the 2002 version. Nuh-uh. They didn't. Hasbro, dang it, guys. You gave us exactly what we wanted. We can choose what version we want to have. So, of course, I want to go full Goblin. But the Willem Dafoe face sculpt? It's fantastic. I mean, still, I will say that Marvel Legends, for all my complaints, their face sculpts are terrific. Probably the best on the market, in my opinion. Just realistic enough to look like the real person, but then cartoonified, comicified just enough that it's not a freaky, uncanny valley sort of thing. Bravo. Whatever look of the Green Goblin you want, you've got it. And then the actual work that's gone into his glider, that's the bomb, man. It looks awesome. And the fact that it comes with a flight stand, I'm kind of crediting Hasbro for something they should do anyway. I mean, yeah, it's a flying character. Should come with a flight stand. But that's not to be expected. So the fact that we got it, that's kind of nice. And seeing this guy on display in my Spider-Man collection, he just looks great. This Goblin, he came out at a similar time as Doc Ock, and it's a question of which one is your most prized one or most preferred one? For me, easily, Green Goblin, fantastic. That's Marvel Legends at their best. We're Marley and Marley. Woo! That song's been in my head ever since I was doing the review for this figure, and I still love him. Again, coming in at the last hour, a little last-minute Christmas present, and I really adore what Four Horsemen have done. With Four Horsemen, there's no surprises. You know that there's going to be a lot of work put into these things. You know they're going to be high-end. You know they're going to include all the bells and whistles and little accoutrements that just make it feel like, yes, this is a luxury item that I've purchased, and this is what you get with Jacob Marley. First of all, just the costume design. It's lovely. It's that Victorian look. Nailed it. But then the ghostly blue and white and grey paint job, and the fact that his boots are translucent that then fades up into the more solid paint, creating that ghostly look. That's wonderful. And then the harness with all the locks and chains and bolts. And of course, all the chains are real chains. No plastic chains here, Todd McFarlane. I'm sorry, that's something that always gets me. I love some of his Spawn characters, but the plastic chains always look rubbish. But this This is what you want. This is how we do it. And the safe with an extra head in there as well, and his ghostly, screaming-looking head. That's very cartoony, but just really fun. Gives you so many different display options. I like the more stern, stoic Jacob Marley kind of look. I think that's really, really cool. But the fact that you get the box with the diorama base behind it, well, the diorama sort of fold out. You know what I'm saying. And also a thick booklet telling you the story of Ebenezer Scrooge and Jacob Marley and A Christmas Carol. It's a whole package put together that's just absolutely wonderful. Came in right at the end of this year, and I absolutely love this guy. SH Figure Arts SpiderGwen from Across the Spider-Verse, or Into the Spider-Verse, whichever the prefix was for Spider-Verse 2. You know what? This is kind of a controversial take, but me personally wasn't a fan of that movie. Didn't enjoy it. Not a patch on the original, which I still hold up as one of the best animated movies ever made. But Gwen, she was good in the movie, and guess what? She got a fantastic action figure as well. I've always loved the Spider-Gwen design. The black and white with the little hints of blue and pink, it just offsets so well. And also the way that they portrayed Gwen in the movie with a little bit of subtle coding that you can pick up on if you want to, that was really lovely. So I wanted to get this figure with different display options that you can have with the mask, or the mask down with the hood down and the human face. That's the one I like to go for. So this figure, you've got to be very delicate with it. With this design, it is so spindly that it actually comes with a few replacement pegs as well, because there's a good chance you might have some little mishaps if you try popping things off and on too quickly. But that's okay. I am a clumsy oaf, but I've not broken it because I've taken my time and I've warmed up joints, so I'm learning my lessons. So I've kept this one in pristine condition, and guess what? She gives the love that she gets, because every time I see her on the shelf, I'm like, yes, that was money well spent. I love the unmasked face sculpt. I think it just looks like a perfect, like one-to-one representation of the character from the movie. Their Miles is really great too. Very tempted to get Spider-Man 2099, but he's so expensive. I'm like, nah, we're fine. But Gwen will do. But all of the articulation points, the bendable toes, the different hand display options as well, the webs that she comes with, there's just, you spoil. You're spoiled for choice. Well, you're not really spoiled. You pay for the privilege. But you know what? When you get her, you'll be glad that you did pay for the privilege, because she's a great looking figure. Goes with any of your Marvel collection as well. If you wanted to just like throw her into a 616 display, you can do. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because even though the face is a little more animated than some of your other ones, if you compare her to like a modern Black Widow or something, you can see that it's like, this isn't quite the same universe. But you know what? I like the aesthetic differences in my display. So this Spider-Gwen, she's the only representation I have from that movie, and honestly, she's the only one I need, because out of all the figures they've done so far, I'd say she's the superior one. In the words of Bobby the Brain Heenan, you wonder where the beef is? There's the beef. King Rex, a dinosaur anthropomorphic barbarian warlord T-Rex monster, bright purple skull crown. I mean, you just run out of ideas. Like, what else could you pack with this guy to make him more awesome? Some people actually say, and they would be wrong, but they do actually say that he's got too much. There's too much going on. And I kind of get that. If you want a cleaner figure, then you might want to take some of the pieces off. And like so many other figures on this list, you can do. And that's again what's so great. You could have him completely nude, a la mode T-Rex, if you want. And then you can pick and choose what accessories, what decorations, what accoutrements you want to put on him. And I can appreciate why you might want to have less, because the paint job on this T-Rex body with the scales and the purple blending into the lighter colors and the patterns, it's just gorgeous. It's just so pretty. So pretty. Does he cost 4 times the price of a Marvel Legend? Yes, he does. But are you getting 4 times the value? Then you could say, well, arguably, yeah, he is. Because again, with the mixed media as well, you take a look at the cape. The cape has got this lovely kind of velvet feel to it. Then going up to the faux, I assume it's faux fur, but it feels like real fur, like, I don't know, fox fur or something. That's just stunning. And then all the different bits of armor have the kind of chrome metallic kind of weathering on them. The bone skull that looks like real bone with a wash. just the attention to detail and the work that's got into this. I would happily trade 4 cheap action figures for one that is just a work of art. And this baby, this is a work of art. But if you want to talk more kind of budgetary action figures, that's not really a proper sentence, more budgetarily aware action figures, then you want to talk about Jada Toys' Street Fighter line. Unarguably, while I'm making up words, that's an Alan Partridge one there, unarguably, the toy line of 2023 was Jada Street Fighter, even though they barely released 2 waves this year. I think a few people are getting Ken, Dalsim, and Bison just at the tail end of December. But really, the first 3 to come out, the first 4 if you include Evil Ryu, set the benchmark for what we can come to expect. $25. And you get 2 heads, a pair of hands, unique sculpt, and a power effect as well, all wrapped up in a beautiful, really beautiful arcade cabinet style box, which of course you can open without damaging it as well. It's a joy to behold, man. And honestly, Chun-Li is my entry, but you could have picked Ryu, you could have picked Fei Long, you could have picked Evil Ryu. Either one of them, whichever flavor you want to go for. I like Chun-Li because she's got the brighter blue costume. I love the 2 different face sculpts. I think she's just terrific. Cannot wait to get the rest of this line. The fact that it's pretty much now set in stone. We're getting all of them. We've seen most of them on display. That's one to look forward to next year. I cannot wait to fully complete this collection. And the fact that we will be able to sooner than later, that's wonderful. Bravo, Jada. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with in 2024. Almost hitting the top spot, but not quite. We have Revoltech Moon Knight. Again, there might have been a bit of recency bias that could have slipped him into the #1 position, but I was trying to be conservative. But this, in my opinion, best example of what Revoltech can do when they're firing on all cylinders and they've honed their craft, which is what they've been doing this last year or 2. They've been taking what they've made and kind of looking at it and going, okay, a lot of people like this, but a lot of people don't. Why don't they? Oh, because joints are difficult to articulate and bits and pieces fall off, and there's a lot of little niggles with a lot of Revoltech figures, and they've taken it back to the drawing board and they've redesigned different elements of their characters, and now this new generation we're getting, oh baby, they're hitting the spot. This Moon Knight in particular, I'm not a huge Moon Knight fan, but I like the character. But when I saw this design, I thought, okay, no, I gotta get this. This looks so cool. When I saw him in a display case, easy for me to say, I'm getting excited. Why am I getting excited? Because I'm talking about one of the best action figures of the year. When I saw him in a display case, I was like, my heart, I'm sold. I need him. Let's get him. It's a happening. The cloth cape looks great. It's huge. Almost too much cape, but I'll let that go. But the fact that we used to have plastic foldable capes, and Revoltech were like, yo, this isn't working. Maybe we should make our cloth capes out of, I don't know, cloth. And they did, and it works so much better. Then so many different accessories. He's got his bow staff. He's got the sickles, the boomerangs. They're all so cool. Put him in the flight stand that he comes with, and he just looks so graceful and dynamic on the shelf. The moody coloring over the mask that creates a kind of shadowed effect with his hood over the top. I could go on, but we got to draw a line under this video at some point. What I'm telling you though is, if you're on the shelf about getting Moon Knight, don't be. Go pick him up. You'll be glad you did. Heat Boys Mech Leonardo. Holy potatoes. How is it going to be anything besides this guy at #1? Yes, he's expensive, but oh my goodness, you see where your money goes. This thing isn't just an action figure work of art, it's an engineering work of art. It's an engineering feat. The way that they take a solid steel, or whatever it's made out of, it feels like steel, metal. Is there a difference? I'm not a physics person. But they actually make everything tessellate and articulate and actually work like a machine. So he has all the articulation you would want from a highly articulated, I don't know, Mayfex or figure art style figure, but done with metal. So components have to be on hinges and slide and tessellate around each other. So when you move his knees, you see his kneecap and the pieces that I suppose would equate to a thigh or a calf, they actually shift and slide around one another. That's just stunning. Then throw in the fact that he has light up functions, his eyes glow and pulse. He's got hidden components where you can put mutagen and a little turtle, and he's got a gun with individual vials of mutagen that it can have attached to it. There's just so much love that went into this figure that now they're extrapolating out into even more figures. I'm not going to get the rest because they are really expensive. Having said that, maybe Krang. I mean, come on, sometimes you got to treat yourself, am I right? But even if I just have this one Leonardo as a standalone figure, oh my goodness, he will be hard to top years from now. Because I think they have put so much incredible work into this that genuinely, this blew me away. He looked great on the screen. Then when I got him in hand, I just realized, wow, it's even better than I could have imagined. This, double thumbs up, mwah, chef's kiss, all the model behavior cliches. He deserves each and every one. No doubt about it. For me personally, action figure of the year. And folks, that does it for my top 10 action figures of 2023. What did you think about the selection, huh? A little bit random, I know, but comment below and let me know. And thanks for bearing with me as I do this new kind of style of video production. I really want to upgrade and change the look of the channel, and sometimes, you know, it takes money to make money. So we bought a green screen, and I have bought new recording equipment as well, but like I said, I haven't got that set up yet. But stay tuned for future model behavior episodes, because we're going in strange new places. Hopefully you're going to be able to join me as well, because I think it's going to be a wild ride. Gang, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, safe new year. And until next time, I can't do my hand thing because I've only got one hand because I'm holding this microphone. Don't worry. Next episode, wireless mic. But until next time, keep displaying model behavior.